What's your solution to imperfect governance?
Imperfect governance. Well, I mean, so let's separate governance into two separate issues. There's one is operational governance, and then the second one is sort of the regime, so the status quo of governance. One method is by having a minimum participatory governance model, which is what we're going to adopt, where in order to receive any sort of distributions or rewards or whatever, you must at least vote present in a monthly governance call. So once a month, your governance tokens, you must vote present. You can, if there are additional governance proposals on there, you can abstain. You don't have to participate in the actual voting process, but you have to at least commit to being active. And hopefully that, I don't want to force people to vote, but I want to incentivize them to at least be present while we are voting. So
Can they
there's
renew?
no, do what?
Can they renew? Let's say I miss a month. Can I renew?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not meant to penalize people. It's meant to
Keep
expose
them
them.
active.
Yeah, minimally, right? Like I don't want people to come back a month later. Hey, why wasn't the community informed? Well, we did. We had a vote. Oh, well, I missed it. Oh, well, I'm not on the forums. Like there's a whole plethora of other things you need to involve yourself with in governance, and this is sort
Hmm.
of minimizing it to the absolute minimum, to where there's there's not a good excuse as to why you weren't informed, right? I missed the
Playing,
email.
yeah, playing devil's advocate there. Don't they call that voter suppression in the United States?
I don't know what that is.
You don't know what voter suppression is? Yeah, I mean, that's funny.
Voter suppression. I
Uh,
mean, we can have a whole sort of talk on voter suppression and sort of who should vote and who shouldn't vote, right? Like, should people who are uninformed vote? What constitutes, eligibility for having the franchise? Like, there's all these sorts of questions, right? But this at least gets you to a good starting place, right? Where you're at least being exposed to the process. And over time, if you want to either delegate your voting, or if you want to actually participate in the actual crafting of protocol resolutions or whatever you're eligible to, and you at least have a baseline, so to speak, of previous exposure, right? Because the last thing any governance system wants is people who have no idea what they're talking about injecting themselves into the conversation
mhm.
with no prior exposure to the decorum or the sort of parliamentary process that governance system uses, in trying to inject their own ideas or beliefs or whatever, right? So it's not meant to be, perfect, because governance is never perfect, but it's aimed more of being agile and not bureaucratic.